Hello to all friends. It's the start of the new year, or rather, a start of a new decade. And on behalf of the All India Football Federation, I welcome you all, friends, followers, and fans, to a very significant episode on AIFF TV. Happy New Year to all of you. Stay safe and stay healthy. Well, there has been an ongoing silent revolution in Indian football, right from the grassroots to the senior teams, in the shapely and much sought after pyramidical structure. Indian football is lucky to have a lot of stakeholders who are very actively involved and have stood out with the support, commitment, and long-term vision, all in an endeavor to take Indian football forward together. The worldwide trend will tell you, or rather all of us, that corporate support stays the bedrock for success in any sports. And here in India, there has been exemplary support to Indian football from Odisha Sports, who have been associated with all age group national teams, right from the under 15 to the under 16 to the under 19s, the senior women's national team. And of course, Bhubaneswar has been declared as one of the venues for the FIFA Under 17 Women's World Cup India 2022. Just to make all of you remember that the Blue Tigers, that is the Indian senior national men's team, also supposed to play Asian champions Qatar in one of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers at the venue. And to speak all about Odisha sports vision and mission, we are joined in by two very special sports administrators of the country. My privilege introducing them. First, Mr. Vishal Dev. Mr. Vishal Dev, IAS and Principal Secretary, Sports and Youth Services and Tourism, Government of Odisha. Sir, Happy New Year and an absolute honor to be having you amongst us.
Thank you, Nilanjala. Very Happy New Year to you and to all the viewers.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that. We also joined in by Mr. R. Vineel Krishna, IAS Special Secretary, Sports and Youth Services, Government of Odisha. Sir, Happy New Year. Privileged to have you on the show.
Thanks so much, Nilanjan. It's really our privilege to be on the show. Very, very Happy New Year to all of you.
The privilege, thank you so much, sir. The privilege is entirely yours, Mr. Krishna, sir. And also, we have been also joined by the General Secretary of the All India Football Federation, Mr. Kushal Das. Happy New Year, sir. So delighted to have you amongst us.
Thank you. Very good morning to Vineel ji and Vishal ji, and to everyone, to the viewers, and a very Happy New Year to all the viewers.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to the viewers from all the three special guests which we have. Sir Kushal, sir, if I can start by asking you, setting the tone, how did this start? If you could take us to the journey of Indian All India Football Federation's association with Odisha Sports.
Oh, yes, of course. That's been a great journey. But let me begin by saying that Odisha is one of the most progressive states in the country now. And being a progressive state, sports, tourism play a very important role in the whole development of the state. So Odisha, in any case, had started centers of excellence for other sports. And they have hosted the Hockey World Cup and will be hosting it again. So it was just a matter of time where football found a home in Odisha. And I'm very happy to be part of the overall sports development structure of Odisha. I recollect that the Honorable Chief Minister had announced the setting up of various centers of excellences, and football was one of them. And I'm so happy to be part of this whole project. We started off by signing an 8-year MOU, which was back in 2019, I think. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, the implementation of the MOU was not really what we wanted. Sadly, it was beyond our control. But now, going forward, we have decided that we will have a specific plan regarding all developmental activities like coach education, refereeing, talent identification, etc. In fact, one of the aspects of the MOU, while it's, of course, the National Center of Excellences for youth teams, also is to develop the sport in the state. And that is where we are now going to focus a lot. And hopefully, with the new year ushering in hope, I think it will be much better going forward. And I'm very, very grateful to Vishal ji, Vineel ji, and the whole sports department of Odisha for giving us this support. It has been a fantastic journey, and I think it will be even better going forward. So once again, very grateful to them, and thank you so much.
Mr. Vishal, I can bring you in a very direct question. What prompted you into such a venture, Vishal sir?
You have to unmute.
Yeah. Nilanjan, over the past few years, sports has become a priority for the government of Odisha, and in fact, it's the vision of the Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Naveen Patnaik, to make Odisha the leading state in the country for sports. It follows with what we've been doing in several other areas. So we've come to a stage, Odisha as a state, that whatever we take up, we want to be the number one. So we already are the number one, in several areas of governance, let's say, whether it's rural roads or it's rural housing or it's housing for the urban poor, poverty reduction, industrial development, disaster management, we are the number one state. And therefore, that desire to be the number one state in sports, was the, let's say, overall objective. And from there, we realized that Odisha is usually considered for hockey. But next to hockey, football is a very popular game in Odisha. Worldwide, it is the most popular game, and it's gaining increasing popularity in Odisha and the country as well. So several of our players have represented the country, particularly in women's football. So it was, our desire to kind of strengthen the ecosystem of football within the state, to see that our players, get the best opportunities for training, for coaching, and are able to represent the country, in the years to come. So that was a desire, and AIFF, I must say, the credit goes to Mr. Das. It's a very professionally run federation, unlike many other sports. So it's been a great experience working with them, and that was how it all came about.
Thank you so much for that. AIFF, a very professionally run organization under the leadership of Mr. Das and obviously the president, Mr. Patel. Kushal sir, if I can come back to you, could you give us an idea about how much the Odisha government has supported not just the Indian Arrows, but also the junior national teams, the under-19s, the under-15s, even the senior women's team, basically the grooming the next generation of Indian players?
I think the support has been tremendous, and for both the youth teams, the women's team, Indian Arrows, and Odisha is also building great infrastructure. They're of course one of the hosts for the Under-17 World Cup and also the Asian Cup Women's in 2022. So the infrastructure also is being developed at a rapid pace, and the support has been tremendous for both the youth teams, the women's team. We had a international tournament in Odisha, so women's tournament. So
Kushal sir, can you hear us? I believe we have lost Kushal sir on that, but staying on with the show, if I can come to Mr. Vineel, sir, the support has been exemplary without any doubt, sir. But this support to the national youth teams and the Indian national teams, Indian football overall, how much has it benefited the state of Odisha?
So when we are supporting the national teams, the national youth teams especially, it's not only about our genuine love for football and our aligning with the vision of the AIFF to make football big, and therefore the kind of a support that the youth teams require in a sustainable manner, so that they all grow really well. So that's one part of the agenda. But more importantly, football, as Secretary Sir has pointed out, apart from hockey, football is extremely popular in Odisha. There are many pockets where people are really crazy about, like how we have pockets of hockey there are a large number of pockets of where football is really very popular. We have, you'll be surprised to know that we have about 16 hostels, and almost in 11 hostels, we have football as a discipline. So already have a base. It's only that they need certain level of exposure. So these youth teams, when they are here, and also the support that we give to the other football tournaments, or you also very well know that in the ISL also we have Odisha FC, which is also supported by the state government in terms of infrastructure and other support systems. So the whole idea about the whole thing is one, to bring in that professional culture of approaching the development of football, and therefore this exposure to our sports hostel or the sports club, football clubs across the state. So they all get to watch these games, one thing. And secondly, many of the our kids also get to play with these teams. Say, for example, with these youth teams, and whenever these Jamshedpur FC used to play here a couple of times, and their reserve teams, their under 18 teams, 80K reserve teams have come, Odisha FC and their own reserve and youth teams. So there's a lot of these activities are going on, which actually help our kids also to get exposed to very good quality football teams, and that helps them in improving their own skills and game. In the recent times, almost 11 players have actually got drafted into the youth teams, both in the men and the women's teams. Apart from this, what is more important is all these ecosystem, what we are trying to build in terms of the competitions, and we are also looking at coach education, the scouting workshops. So all these have been happening, and you'll also appreciate that this is something that has started around 2019, and only for a year this could happen, and then COVID has actually kind of affected all the activities. So we are quite happy with the progress and the partnership with AIFF and the way that the football has picked up a lot in a professional manner in the state.
Well, football is a sport for the future. We all see that when we all hope that. Vishal sir, if I can come to you, the footballing infrastructure of Odisha means, how do you see that developing in the near future, sir?
So, Nilanjal, along with the various competitions and tournaments that we're doing, we are also upgrading the infrastructure across sports across the state. So for the FIFA, under 17 Women's World Cup, we have developed 3 brand new football pitches along with all the ancillary facilities, and 2 synthetic pitches are also coming up in addition to that. So Bhubaneswar alone, apart from the main pitch and the practice pitch in the Kalinga Stadium, which is the venue for the tournament, we have 5 brand new pitches coming up in Bhubaneswar city. We also are setting up, football fields across the state at different levels, at regional levels, as part of the integrated sports complex in every district. And we're developing playgrounds in every block. So going right down to a Gram Panchayat level. So at different levels, if you look at the administrative hierarchy, it's like a pyramid: the state level, the regional level, district level, block level, and the Gram Panchayat level. So infrastructure is planned and being set up at all these levels throughout the state, and football is an integral part of whatever we are doing. So whatever infrastructure is coming up, football field is a part of that, because it's the easiest game to play. I mean, if you want to introduce kids to sports, I think one of the best ways and the easiest ways is football. We also have this FIFA Legacy program, which we'll be taking up alongside the Women's Under 17 World Cup. So as a part of that, also we are trying to get as many girls into football as possible.
Definitely. Anyone who steps into, friends, followers, and fans, I just need to point out here, anyone who has been lucky or fortunate enough to be dropping into that sports complex at the Kalinga Stadium, you will wonder whether you are in India or not. And if you haven't, do make it a point to visit out there. It's absolutely out of the world infrastructure, and the facilities which is there. And seeing will be believing for all of you. I've been lucky to be there many times. So please be there on the next visit to Odisha. If you haven't, it's a must watch, the Kalinga Sports Complex. Coming to you, Vishal sir, Mr. Vineel sir. Vineel sir, The stadium obviously does not only cater to football, but many other range of other sports as well. Any plans to be having such sporting hubs in the state in the future, in the near future? Any such?
You have rightly told about the Kalinga, how it has emerged initially as a hockey main hub. And then there was athletics athletics championships have been organized. Then now the football has also been a major game in Kalinga Sports Complex. If I may just add briefly about Kalinga a bit more. So Kalinga Stadium itself now is going to undergo a lot of infrastructural upgradation. So we are coming with one of its kind, the indoor athletic track. So you know that we have a lot of these HPCs that are functioning from Kalinga Stadium, and one of it is athletics. And usually the problem with our weather is that either it is too hot or it is cold during the winters, and you know what happens, monsoons. Odisha gets one of the highest monsoon and rainfall. For a project that is coming up in Kalinga, which we intend to complete in the next 1.5 years. So that includes a very huge athletic indoor stadium kind of a thing within the indoor athletic track and practice areas. So that will be one of its kind in India. I believe there is no such indoor athletic track, and we would like to host the competitions as well, indoor competitions here. And similarly, the same applies for the swimming as well, swimming and its practice. So therefore, we are coming up with a big aquatic complex with a completely temperature controlled indoor aquatic complex with the Olympic sized swimming pool and the practice, where even the competitions can be held, and also another tennis complex and high performance related residential buildings. Everything is coming up. So in brief, Kalinga is up for a big upgradation in the coming year. So apart from this, coming to your question about are we going to create more such hubs in the state? While it is not possible to create like Kalinga in other parts of the states, given that this is a state level infrastructure. But of course, the CM has announced regional level centers. So they are coming up in all our municipal corporation areas of Sambalpur, Rourkela, Berhampur, and even in Jaipur, it's coming in Koraput district, and also Puri. So there's a special focus on development of Puri districts as such, and that includes sports. So these kind of sports regional hubs and also the district level sports complex, a lot of work is going on. And as sir has mentioned that all the urban local bodies, the NACs, the municipalities, municipal corporation, all of them are going to have good quality fields and indoor halls. So these are all again, they've just been planned, and hopefully we'll be able to execute in the next 1 year. So all across the state, you will be finding in next 1.5 to 2 years that there is good quality infrastructure coming up, and added to it will be also be starting a lot of the coaching facilities here. And apart from this, there are 2 places where we are considering starting the sports schools, an integrated sports school concept, whereby it's a residential facility not only for sports coaching but also for education. Because if you can appreciate it well, that when the sports kids go to a regular school, they really face a lot of discrimination, because the teachers don't really appreciate the kind of hard work that the kids are coming. They must be getting up early in the morning, do a lot of practice, and then come to the school. But they treat them on par with the other kids, and there's a lot of discrimination with respect to performance in academics and the way the teachers deal with them. So therefore, to ensure that the schooling is also customized to the need of the sports students, we are also coming out with 2 complexes where sports schools will be started. So in short, not only in Bhubaneswar but across the state, there's large scale sports infrastructure related development is taking place. Thank you.
The sporting state of Odisha, Mr. Vineel hints at that. Thank you so much for that. Kushal sir, if I can come to you and ask you, in what manner is the All India Football Federation looking at a kind of a continuation of this successful partnership with Odisha Sports?
So as I said, we have a lot of activities planned And very recently, we had a detailed activity plan which was submitted, which was agreed with the Odisha Sports. And the question is of implementing it. And in the new year now, things should be much better and we should be able to implement it. And we have a lot of events planned in Odisha. We have, besides the Under-17 World Cup and the Women's Asian Cup, Bhubaneswar is also a host for the India versus Qatar match, the World Cup qualifier. But again, that unfortunately is still subject to certain quarantine rules, which, the government, the guidelines which the government comes out from time to time. So we have a lot of events planned there. Going forward, we will be having more international competitions there. And as I said, one of the main aspects of the MOU is to develop it locally, develop football locally in Odisha. And for that, we have a plan in place, and hopefully it will be executed going forward. And Odisha, we hope to make Odisha one of the hubs of Indian football. That's the plan, in short.
Hub of Indian football, and why not? The General Secretary says about more international competitions to be hosted in Odisha. Coming to you, Vishal sir, you have already hosted a World Cup in Bhubaneswar, the Hockey World Cup. What a successful World Cup it was. So what kind of a response are you expecting for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, sir?
Nilanjan, it's a response of the people of Odisha to sports that makes it stand out. I mean, when we got the Hockey World Cup, one of the reasons was that the response of the crowd was phenomenal. There was not a single seat which was vacant, even for tournaments like the Pro League or the World Hockey League, etc. And we saw the same response and interest for football. So whatever competitions that we've hosted, the ISL, the I-League, the Hero Super Cup, the response has been phenomenal. People attend in large numbers. They cheer for the teams, and I think we will have a huge impact. We already the proud host of the national Under-16 and the national Under-19 teams at Bhubaneswar, and there's a lot of identification and a sense of belongingness to the teams, and I'm sure it'll make it very exciting, and people will really love watching football in Bhubaneswar.
Definitely, people will definitely be loving to watch football in Bhubaneswar and all over Odisha. Vineel sir, if I can bring you in, the General Secretary mentioned about Odisha being the hub of football in the country. Do you see the city or the state coming? You agree with that statement that Odisha is to become the hub of football in India?
Yeah, absolutely. That is what the aspiration is, and I'm sure with the active partnership with AIFF, that is something that we can all bring it to reality. Football is something that, as I have already mentioned earlier, that it's extremely popular in many pockets, and we see a lot of talented young footballers wanting to get into the national teams. We are developing a lot of infrastructure related to the football development. After hosting the World Cup, again, we have given our consent for the Asia Cup, and we hope to be part of that as well. So I see that football is something that is growing very rapidly in Odisha, and there's every reason to believe that it can become a hub in the near future.
Why not? Definitely, we want that. Kushal sir, coming to you. This trend, do you see this trend of state governments venturing into support for sports, taking a leaf out of Odisha sports? You see other state governments also coming into sports and sponsoring sports in the future?
I think it should happen because we all need to work together. India is a huge country. The diversity is huge. And unless we get together, it will be very difficult to develop sports. So I would think that many states would be very encouraged with whatever Odisha is doing and come forward to associate with the federations and the state associations to work together and develop sports in the country. And of course, we look forward to developing football in other states too.
Definitely developing football in other states too. The last question, Vishal sir, I want to bring you in. We have officially bid to host the AFC Asian Cup 2027. And the generation of players, Vishal sir, who will form the nucleus of that squad are either currently maybe with the Indian Arrows or have just trained with the Indian Arrows in the last couple of years or so, all under the umbrella of Odisha Sports. As a partner, how do you look into it, and how much proud do you feel that the generation of players who are being cropped, who are being groomed under Odisha Sports will maybe go on to form the team in 2027, if we get it, obvious?
Nilanjan, as I was mentioning, it's a matter of great pride that we host both these national under 16, national under 19 teams, and these are the teams which will be playing if we get the AFC here in India and of course in Odisha. So I think it will be wonderful, a matter of great pride when we see players, who played on our grounds, playing for the country in prestigious tournaments as AFC in the heart of the state. And it's a part of the evolution and the journey of a player as well as a sports fans and administrators like us to see the team, players really blossoming and representing the country at the national level. So we are really looking forward to it. And parallelly, I think what will also happen is it will also give the players, the talent from the state, a wonderful platform to showcase their skills. We would like more and more players, boys and girls from Odisha, to get into the national football teams, based, of course, on merit, based on the quality of their play. And I think these tournaments, these initiatives, provide a wonderful platform for that. So all in all, we're very excited about this opportunity of seeing players who've coached and who've trained here play at the AFC, and even who knows, we could be playing in the Senior Men's Football World Cup as well.
Fingers crossed, sir. Fingers crossed. All of us want that to happen for sure. I need to thank Vishal sir, you, Mr. Vineel sir, you and Kushal sir, obviously, for being on this show. It's been an absolute honor for AIFF TV to host all of you together. And thank you for all your support to Indian football, to take Indian football forward together. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It means a lot to us. Stay well, stay safe, stay healthy, and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nilanjan. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I end it and then save it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks. We can leave now?
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Went away with.
And sorry for the delay, sir. Sorry for the delay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, end meeting for all करूँ तो ना? End, हाँ, end और leave है. End करूँ?